So today we're going to be talking about one of Rolex's most obnoxious watches.
Hello, we're Clockbait. I'm Luke.
I'm Anthony.
And today we've got something fairly special. We have got in the Rolex GMT Master 2 Everose? Evergold?
Everose.
Everose. Done my research. as usual.
So straight away I think we might as well just jump into the specs because it's just kind of normal GMT Master 2.
just your normal.
Just your normal GMT Master 2, just clad in gold. Well, it's not even clad in gold, it is just pure gold.
Just a little bit scared of it on the edge of the table a little bit.
Part number is 126715CHNR. Same normal case as the GMT Master 2, so 40mm case size, 20mm lug width that tapers down to 16mm, 48mm lug to lug, but obviously where this has the oyster it goes up to 51mm across
Just
the
nudges
wrist.
over slightly.
That's it, yep. 100 metres water resistance despite the triplock crown. Cerachrome bezel, the proprietary rose gold as we discussed. It's got the EasyLink 5mm system on the bracelet and it's chromalite. So
well done.
Yeah.
It's almost like you read that.
Almost. So it's half decent specs, but it's no different to the Master 2, is it? It's just the normal Master 2. It's just made out of gold, so it's actually 220 grams.
That's heavier than the Deep Sea that we reviewed
the James
other day.
Cameron Deep Sea is heavier than that.
that.
And just for reference, my Batman is 148 grams with one link taken out of it. So that's a big. That's 70 grams on top.
It's a beast. Let's be honest, it's a beast.
It is a beast. And thank God it's obviously got the newer, smaller GMT2 case, because I think if it had like the bigger case or the sub case, it would be far too big and even more obnoxious. I mean, it's an absolutely fantastic watch, but
I was just going to mention really one thing that we've missed off on the specs, which isn't, because we didn't, not that we write stuff down, but we didn't write down, is actually the price as well. That's one thing that we should just cover off the back. So a normal, but your Batman, for example, what's the retail on that?
It's gone up, is 7,850, I believe.
And if you wanted that in rose gold, Rolex rose gold, how much is it going to cost you?
Just over 30,000 of your great English pounds.
30,000, I think £650. So it's
That's
actually
a massive jump.
It's actually the most expensive watch we've had on the channel. And that's not to say that we don't want any more expensive ones. So if you want to send us stuff, feel free. We will give it back.
That leads me on to obviously how I feel about my Batman and Rolex's lack of quality control, I feel, lately.
We're going straight into this, are we?
Or just losing it completely.
Go straight in.
So, I mean, it's bad enough on this watch, which is like nearly £8,000 retail price, and what we're saying, £12,000 on the grey market.
Yeah.
This watch is not worth either of those sums, as far as I'm concerned. So then, when we're talking about the £30,000 for an Everose, it's got slightly better build quality, I'd say. I've got rock back and forth on my bezel. It's not as crisp. Now, the sub bezel from Rolex is the best bezel action on any watch I've ever touched. Like, despite any price, it's just amazing. The GMT lets it down slightly. There's too much rock, there's too much movement, it's not very nice. The rose gold is a little bit better because obviously it's just a bit of a
It feels a bit more dense.
It feels dense, so there's less of that rock, and obviously it doesn't have a painted GMT hand. Now, the GMT hand on my Batman actually looks like it's been dipped by a 5-year-old
with a roller.
With a roller. It's just absolutely atrocious, and that's not the only thing. So obviously, now with this 3285 movement that they've put in, is supposed to be all singing, all dancing.
Well, you do.
The
positive of that is you do get the huge uplift on the
70-hour power reserve, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the cost of this 70-hour power reserve, every new GMT with this 3285, it sounds like it's got a cement mixer in the back. It is atrocious. Now imagine my displeasure at spending the amount of money I have on this for that. I mean, it sounds like a Seiko. And then
Don't discredit Seiko like that.
and this chap has spent over £30,000 on this watch, and it sounds the same.
You still get the nose
it's a little bit duller.
It gets muted slightly because of the density of the
But
material.
I'm not going to shake this watch because it's not mine. It's brand new and it's not actually been worn out of the house. But I mean,
don't give it to me for God's sake. It'll be out the window.
I've got to shake. I mean, can you hear that? And again, I can hear it over there. It's sickening, absolutely sickening, and it just drives me mad. Absolutely drives me mad. It just shouldn't be allowed. And that one sounds the same.
You can't throw that about.
Does anyone want to buy a Batman? Well, it's supposed to be more durable now. This new 3285.
Well,
so a lot of people
say,
put it down to the ceramic ball
yeah, that's
bearing.
what I was going to say. People say it's ceramic ball bearings. Ball bearings. It's not a roller skate. I don't know.
Sounds like a roller skate going down the road, doesn't it?
It does. Hitting potholes.
As it's going down. It's just atrocious. So they're saying obviously these ceramic ball bearings are better for longevity. Now, I have not really heard of many people complaining about the rotor longevity on their older GMTs, and you can't hear a sound. And it's not just this one, it's not just that one. We've heard at least 3 others that sound the same. Jody from Just One More Watch, when he had this Batman, he picked up on it.
Mr. X picked up his rose gold. No, not rose gold. He's got the root beer.
Root beer, that sounds exactly the same. He's got a normal GMT too. That sounds exactly the same. That's unacceptable. I mean, it's unacceptable on that watch, let alone that watch, and it just kind of leaves a horrible taste in my mouth.
Just a bit of taste with Rolex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's disgusting. It genuinely is disgusting.
On to the positives, it looks nice.
It's a fantastically good-looking watch. And now we'll glaze over that, but yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic.
I mean, the actual gold on that, we've said before, the rose gold, red gold, whatever Rolex call it, they've patented their own
proprietary rose gold.
It's
Rolex, gold. Of course they have.
It's amazing. It looks slightly not less aggressive, but if you had yellow gold, it's a bit more subtle. I mean, let's be honest, this is not a subtle watch that we're looking at, but it looks a little bit more subtle than say yellow gold. And even in some lights, in natural light, it actually looks a little bit like it looks a bit still in it, really.
It can almost go under the radar when it just kind of catches a certain amount of light, and then it just you think for a second, oh, it's still. And a lot of people have said, oh, is that the root beer? Because they don't actually notice because of it's so the highly polished bits, they just kind of almost.
I mean, it's a beautiful looking watch. It really is, and it plays with that. It plays with the bezel so well. The colours on the bezel work so well,
and that's what kind of then makes it worth the price, the extra uplift, because it does. It looks and it feels.
But you're paying 3
special.
times the price of a root beer, right? 3 times, and it's literally paying its weight in gold.
Yeah. So what's a root beer? £11,750, and I think I'd be happier with a root beer because of the actual outside polished edges. They're stainless steel rather. No, they're not polished. They're the outside shoulders of the bracelet are brushed stainless steel, and then it's polished rose gold down the middle. It's just a lot less easier to scratch, and it's quite worrying. We
should have really opened this up, shouldn't we, so we can look at it while we're talking about it.
I mean, do we need to look at it anymore?
We're looking at the macro rather than looking at it like this.
But I need sunglasses soon. But no, I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
It does. I mean, if you look at the hands, like you said before, you don't have the patented GMT hand patented. You don't have the painted GMT hand. You have it in rose gold to match the outside the case and the bracelet. Which actually works in its favour because it's not been painted.
Yeah, it hides that quality. Rolex don't seem to be able to paint a hand at all. And that goes to show, not just obviously on like the Batmans and obviously the normal GMT where it's got green instead of blue. They've also got the meteorite dialed one, which is the most expensive, I believe, GMT Master 2. I think it's
I've got no idea.
I think it's a few £100 more than the Everose. And Watchfinder did a video on that one 6 months ago. It's the only video I've seen on the meteorite actually. And again, the hands painted like it's just unreal.
It is shocking, really, compared to what you're paying for it. I mean, if you look at something like a Langer, for example, which if you look under macro, it's just immaculate.
Yeah, what's a Grande Langer 1, which is £28,000? Everything is spotless, flawless, as you would expect when you're spending that amount of money.
Even things like, what's that German brand called? Mortis Grossman? If you look at them up close, they are immaculate.
Again, Rolex rest on their reputation.
But they can, though. That's the thing, they can. They can, and no matter... This could be painted with Durex. Durex?
How's it going to be painted with Durex, mate?
Dulux.
Start melting down all your used ones. It could be painted with any kind of crap paint and people would still buy it.
That's it, Durex paint. Christ, I must be tired today.
Unbelievable. You just can't get the staff these days.
No.
One day I'll get to work with a professional.
No, it could be painted with Dulux, and people would still buy it, because it's just they rest on the brand name, which fair enough they've built.
But to me, it makes me think that Rolex are just getting sloppy now. They just don't care. They're just churning out, and that's it. They don't.
Are they churning out though?
It makes me think that these watches are not made with pride. and it just kind of leaves a bit of taste.
Are you trying to say that Rolex mass produce their watches?
Well, we know that 1 million watches a year it is mass produced.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
but I think a little bit more care and attention needs to be taken, especially when pieces cost this amount of money. Because I think I'd feel a bit shortchanged. Now, regardless, if it was my money, would I be paying 30 grand for this? I'd pay 20 maybe. I'd still maybe struggle at 20, but at 30 grand, I mean, I would be going for a Langer all day, every day. Not to mention, I mean, I'm uncomfortable just having this watch in my house.
Yeah, I am. I've not touched it. I mean,
it's too soft. You just know it's going to get scratched to buggery, like all gold watches, unfortunately. Yeah. But the other thing,
especially the polishing, the centre links.
It's just so bloody obvious. I mean, I would never in this country. I don't think I could wear this outside. I would never wear that into London.
I could wear that while having a beer on a beach in Dubai. And
now that is where this watch suits.
Yeah,
that is where this watch suits.
Next to your mate with his rainbow Daytona.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when you could where you can be obnoxious and it's fine and it's acceptable. That kind of dream place. But I mean, I would not wear that into London because you're just going to get noticed all of the time. You're going to have to cover it all up all of the time, and it makes it pointless owning it.
You come in with 10 knives in you.
Yeah. Whereas if I put on...
Got myself a new punch oven today.
Whereas if I bought a Grande A Langer 1, which I think is about £28,000, I could quite happily know that for the most part, I could walk around London and no one would know what that is, and no one would want to take my life for it.
I know we keep on comparing it to like a Langer, for example. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is based... I'm not going to say it's a sports watch because you're not wearing that when you're paying, hockey.
No, I mean...
Who plays hockey? That comes to my head first.
It's a statement piece at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is.
It's not haute horology like a Langer would be.
Here's one for you then. What would you rather have, that or the 50 fathoms in the rose gold? I mean, I know that you don't get the rose gold bracelet on the 50 fathoms. You get the rubber.
Yeah, but it's also cheaper by about
by fair. What,
6,000 or 7,000 pounds?
Yeah, it's 22, 23 grand.
Might even be 24. But yeah, what would I rather? Rolex.
Yeah, and again, we've just had a go at Rolex because they just rest on the fact that they've got the brand name. But when it comes down to it, we're just as bad as everyone else because I really like them.
Because I know it's a bad reason for why I'd want the watch. I find the 50 fathoms, especially in the brushed rose gold, very interesting to look at. It's a lovely watch.
Big old beast, though.
It is a big old beast, but it wears really nice. But anyway, we're not reviewing that.
We're not really reviewing this, to be honest. We've just had a go.
Kind of. I think so. People can kind of know what you feel when you're looking at it, and I mean, I don't know how I'd feel if I'd paid £30,000 for it, but I just don't think it's worth £30,000. But at the end of the day, you're always going to get near to £30,000 back for this.
I would say,
yeah,
oh yeah, definitely.
The 50 fathoms would be worth 50 pence.
But I'd say, I mean, I don't think they'll hold the value compared to the steel models. I think they'll go down. It's going to be like a car, but
you just don't see these, and I don't know whether it's because of
the 30 grand.
Yeah.
30 grand.
True.
So you don't see it. But I think, I genuinely think that's the most beautiful Rolex they do. I think it's an incredible looking thing. But
I would tend to agree with you, actually. Yeah,
it's an incredible looking watch.
I prefer it over anything that Rolex do.
But I couldn't wear it.
I couldn't wear it. Yeah, and that's a horrible. Thankfully, not a dilemma either of us.
Do you know what? But, I've realised I'm too pale to wear it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, amazingly, if I had a really nice tan and I was on holiday, I'd rock the shit out. Well, I'd like to think I could rock the shit out of it. Oh, dog's bored. Hopefully more of you have stuck around longer than the dog. But yeah, I'm just thinking...
So many people fucked off when you threw that Batman.
Yeah, fuck it. But I would love to think that I could own them and have that. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that put me off. I feel like I was getting shortchanged if I bought it.
I think to summarise, I absolutely love it. I think it's incredible. I'm too scared to even look at it. I feel guilty looking at it, never mind touching it. And I couldn't own what.
We don't feel worthy of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
But then just think about the rotor noise. If you like to listen to cement mixers going round and round and round, just put one of them on your wrist. It's absolutely atrocious. Rolex, buck up your ideas. It's just not acceptable. Not acceptable at all.
Anyway, if you enjoyed that video, I can feel the dislikes coming in for people who haven't seen one, and also people will say you're wrong about the rotor noise, but then people will be the people that are either too blind to realise it's past Rolex, or people that have never experienced it. But that does That does make a noise like a Vostok.
We're not wrong. The Vostok sounds quieter than it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful watch. I couldn't pay 30 grand for it. Just because it's just not me.
And we couldn't wear it. So that is the summary. So yeah, as Luke said, if you've enjoyed this video, please drop us a like, drop a comment. Would you wear this? Do you think this rotor noise is acceptable at all? And yeah, please share the video, like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc. And we'll be back for more videos soon. See ya.